Hey everyone, Stuart with Franklin Hill Ventures. Thanks for stopping by our update video. First off, please click the like button if you enjoy our videos and also consider subscribing to our channel. That does really help us out as we seek to grow our YouTube presence. A couple of things before we get started with the actual update. I do try to learn at least one new thing every week, and this week I learned that this is a Brazil nut seed pod. I actually got this item at a thrift shop probably 6 months ago. Had no clue what it was, but thought it looked really cool. So I bought it. I think I spent about $3 on it. And it was funny. I was in a Zoom meeting for my real job the other day, and somebody at the end of the meeting said, "Hey, is that a Brazil nut seed pod behind you?" And I'm like, I really don't know. But once I got off, I Googled it, and sure enough, that's what it is. I guess they take the seed pods and then carve them. And I found out that there's actually a market for these. So if I ever decide to sell it, it looks like that I can put it online and somebody might buy it from me. But for now, I think I'll keep it because I do like it. Um, Last thing before we get started, a shout out to my friend Rick who got this another Beach Boys album for me. The Christmas album up here, it's one I didn't have, so I really appreciate that as I look to add those to my collection. So let's go ahead and jump right into the update. Let me get my screen shared. And first off, let's talk about a couple of things we found this week. So first off, I found this lot of books that I believe I paid $20 for, and it was several, about 5 James Bond books from the 60s, including Octopussy, you see here. I think it had The Man with the Golden Gun, and a couple of others. They're all the Ian Fleming, original versions, not some of the later authors who did James Bond books. It also had the entire, I assume it's the entire 4-book Dune series, including the original Dune book here, and that one looks to be a really good find. And then it had this 1977 book club edition of The Shining, which I think it's funny, a new novel by the author of Carrie and Salem's Lot, and inside it says, or also by Stephen King. It lists just those 2 books. Now if you buy a book by Stephen King, there's, 150 different books listed. But anyway, that was also another good find. Looks like that's probably a $40 to $60 book. So anyway, really excited to find these books. And if you don't sell books, they're easy to ship, easy to package, easy to ship. They can ship medium mail. So that's something I'm always on the lookout for. Next, this cool table. If you followed me on Instagram, you've already seen this. But this is by an artist named Nerese Hop. And it's this table that she hand painted. And it was really cool. Once I got it, I Googled her name, found her Facebook page, reached out to her, sent her a message. I haven't heard back from her yet, just to find out if this was one of a kind or, did she produce more than one of them. I found an article in a newspaper from Texas from 2011 where I assume it was this exact same table sold at a silent auction. It did not have an amount or anything, but it was really cool to see that. That was, 10 years ago. I assume that's when it was made. But anyway, this was a really cool piece. I paid $40 for it at the yard sale, and I've got it out at my booth at Bearden Antique Mall in Knoxville. So if you're in the area, stop in and check it out. And then finally, at a yard sale yesterday, found about 120 records. And this is why when I go to yard sales, I always ask, hey, do you have vinyl, or do you have, maybe I'll ask if they have books, but I don't always just look around and assume that's all they have. At this house, I just happened to say, hey, do you have any vinyl records? And they said, yeah, we got a bunch inside, but we didn't bring them out. Do you want to look at them? I looked at them and bought every one they had, for a good price. And I've actually already sold several of them. There was a Sgt. Pepper's in there. There was a Flock of Seagulls debut album, which is apparently, I won't say it's real rare, but it's desirable. And I think I sold that for $20. A lot of classic 70s rock and a lot of early 80s pop and rock. So a really good lot of records. So really excited to find that. So now let's jump into some of the things that sold. As you'll see, it was a booth heavy week for us. I mean, we sold a lot of stuff online, but really no huge sales online. Most of our bigger sales were at the booth. And this right here was our biggest sell of all. This is an Asian wood carving, and it's my understanding that these types of things would typically hang in a temple, but it's really cool. This piece is one solid piece of wood, so even the frame around the outside is the same piece of wood that the figures are that you see on the inside. It's got gold and red paint, I guess gold gilding, and there's some metal pieces that you can see in here as well. I think based on some research I did and talking to some people at the antique mall, I think it may be from around the 30s or 40s. In any case, I sold this for $200, got it at a yard sale for 15. I think I may have could have actually gotten more, but I know that it's going to a collector's home. They buy a lot of stuff from the antique mall, so it's going to a really good home. So I'm excited about that, and they're going to enjoy it. But this was a really cool piece and one of my favorite finds that I've had recently. So next, this bamboo table that sold for $40. I think we picked it up for $5 at a yard sale. The good thing with selling this, it was great timing. I got that other table that I showed just a minute ago. It went in this exact spot that this one came out of. So I actually took the table in there not knowing that this had sold, and there was a perfect spot for it. So that was, it was like it was meant to be to put the new table in there. And then next, this monkey picture that sold also out of the booth. I believe it sold for $20, and I picked it up at a thrift shop for $2. And I mean, anything that has to do with monkeys always sells real well for me, whether it's online or in my booth. So I knew when I picked this up, it's a Max Sarah, I believe it's the brand. I knew it would be a quick seller. I also bought the frame, this Looney Tunes frame, which I thought was cool. I haven't sold it yet, but it's I believe it's at my Clinton booth. Next is this set of 10 stories by foreign authors from 1898, I believe is when it's from. I picked this up at an estate sale, and it was $2 a book, so total cost of $20. And one thing about estate sales, I know a lot of times we think of estate sales as being overpriced, and many times I won't say overpriced, but they're priced at retail where people like us are looking for reseller prices. One thing I've found though is that books tend to be priced pretty reasonable. As mentioned, these were $2 a piece, so a great opportunity. And I think I had mentioned in a previous video, I bought 2 sets of these. So it's a story by, I think it was English authors that I bought as well. It was also a 10-volume set, I believe, and it sold for the same price of $60 that this one did. Another one of my favorite things that I sold this week is this velvet Last Supper painting, and this combines 2 things that I've talked about in previous videos. It combines velvet art, which I think last week I mentioned the velvet bullfighter that I sold, and then religious imagery. So you put those 2 things together, it's kind of a double, a double whammy of, making it desirable. Religious stuff's always sold well for me. Throw it on a piece of velvet and it's even better. So this, I bought it at a thrift shop for 15, sold this for 75. And then real quick, we'll jump over to some of the online sales that I had. The first one here, this was an Etsy sale, and this was kind of a doubly good sale for me. Not only was it a good sale at $72, so it was 3 sets of three pairs of these salad plates. It also pushed me over the edge to become a star seller on Etsy for whatever that's worth. Supposedly it's going to give you more visibility. But in any case, I had actually 75 cents in the 3 sets of these combined. It was part of a whole lot of Linux Kingsley place settings that I bought. I think it was around 12 place settings. And anyway, by the time you figured it all out, our cost of goods sold was around 75 cents in this. It was $72 with free shipping, but shipping was around 15, so still a really good return on that. And then next, this book from 1913, and this is an instructional book for parents to teach their kids about sex. So it's kind of, it was real interesting to read, how this was done in 1913 from a Puritan standpoint, because that's who wrote the book, versus, how we would teach this now. Obviously, a lot of differences, although there were some things in there that were probably still the same and that I agreed with. This was a book, I listed it, got it for $1 at a yard sale, listed it, sold it within an hour or two of listing, and really sold it above what the comps for this book showed. So that was good. And I'm sure that, hopefully the person who gets it will enjoy reading it. And then next, let me just show a couple more pictures from here. Yeah, so a lot of great illustrations in this book as well. And there you can see 1913. And I believe that's the guy who maybe wrote the book there. So the next sale, these next two tabs actually are both bingo cards. And I got this in one lot at a thrift shop. They were together and I paid $4 for all 18 cards. There were 10 of this John S. Jones Funeral Home and then 8 from the American Legion. The cool thing is that, both of these are from Mansfield, Ohio, and the person who bought it was from Mansfield, Ohio. So I think it's always cool when I sell something and, it's going home, so to speak. I know one time I sold some James Dean keychains that went to the James Dean Museum, and I thought that was cool. And I think I sold a Jesse James item one time that went to a Jesse James museum. So anytime you kind of have an idea of where something's going like that, and it's going to a place where somebody's going to really appreciate it and enjoy it, it makes for a good feeling. So anyway, the last item here is this pair of Andrea by Sadak figurines. These are some early ones in that line of figurines, and these sold for $25. I think I had 35 and took a best offer of 25, plus the buyer paid shipping, and they're going to Russia. So as I've mentioned, I think I've mentioned this previously, if you're not selling internationally, you're missing a great opportunity to make more sales, especially on eBay, where they make it really easy. You can either do eBay standard international shipping, which is what I do, or you can do the eBay global shipping program. They both work similar from the seller standpoint. You ship it to an address in Kentucky, although with standard international, like the Canada and Mexico, I think it may go straight to those addresses. But in any case, I do eBay standard international because it ends up being less expensive for the buyer. The way eBay does the taxes and tariffs and all that with global shipping program can end up being really expensive for the buyer. And I know there's a lot of foreign buyers who won't even buy through GSP. So anyway, do some research into those. But even if you ship directly internationally, which I do that on Etsy and the other marketplaces, I've never really had any issues. So it's definitely something for you to look into. So I believe that is all I have from an update standpoint on this one. So I really appreciate you stopping by. Make sure you visit our website at www.franklinhillventures.com. That has links to all our social media sites, as well as the marketplaces we sell on. And we will see you next time.